Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
We are definitely on the road to WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is set to take on none other than the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. Before that, we have the Elimination Chamber. Before that, we have the Hitting the Turnbuckle. Welcome to our Monday Night Raw review. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and I'm joined by my illustrious co-host and good friend, Mr. Adam Cousins. Adam, how are you, sir?
I am very, very good. It is pancake day. Have you had any pancakes?
No, I haven't had any pancakes, mate. The joys of living on your own, I don't have to bother with that shit anymore.
But you can just buy them from the shop and bang them in.
Could do, mate. Yeah, could do, mate. No, I come home and had a packet of biscuits for a cup of tea.
Fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk some Monday Night Raw. Let's talk some WWE. We are in the season for WrestleMania.
Yes.
One thing before I start, I need to get this off my chest because I've seen loads of this going around social media. I want to get your opinion on it because people bring this up every single year around Mania time. They badmouth these quote unquote part-time wrestlers coming in. Surely that's something we can put to bed when we've had Roman Reigns as champion for God knows how long now, and he's kind of been a part-time champion, albeit, not as part-time as The Rock. But this, for me, this has been going on for years now. I mean, we had Austin versus Kevin Owens. We've had so many people come. It's WrestleMania time. What do you make to these people that are going on the internet now and going, oh, The Rock's taken a spot of someone else? Do they forget like the 15, 20 years that he was on the road, just up and down, literally traveling the globe? Because now he's a Hollywood superstar and probably the most known name on the planet. He's taking a spot from someone else. Sorry. I think this WrestleMania could be the most watched ever.
It will be.
What do you think?
Well, look, at the end of the day, WWE are going to do what's called getting eyes on the prize. Lesnar comeback was part-time. Every time he come back initially, I mean, bearing in mind he did have a lot of returns and all, a bit like Roman, but when he did come back at the beginning, every time he returned, there was massive eyes on the product. Logan Paul's a fine example. Now, Logan Paul's full-time now for the foreseeable. But he puts eyes outside of WWE every time where he goes. He's got the United States Championship and that.
Yeah.
Generates
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny's another one. The Rock, regardless of what people will say, The Rock, every time he comes back, look at the social media views. Just don't forget, they get paid on that shit. Right. So
every click, every like, every share, everything, especially now with the way we're going with the TKO and the whole Netflix thing coming up. And we've said this a few times, it's the world we live in now.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to care about fucking, I don't know, Otis not getting a shot, or you can argue. The thing I heard today was, apparently they did change it back to Cody. It was going to be Roman, and no one really knows, right? Let's face it.
Injuries have played such a part, and CM Punk getting injured played a big part.
But like even the ones in the know to a degree, like the journalists out there, will have a source in the WWE, and they will tell them pretty much whatever they want to tell them. Really, whether or not it's truth or lie is another thing. But and if WWE have changed it due to fan reaction back to Cody, the fucking mugs. Because at the end of the day, you had a game plan. And if that game plan changed due to Punk's injury, then okay, you detoured on the detour, so to speak. But now they've detoured on the detour and gone back to square one, which to me, I don't like that. If they the Rock and Roman is the match that we wanted before the Rock and Cody. Cody was only...
Yeah, I still think we're going to get that. I think it's just going to be next year. I think Rock will probably go into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 41. I think, like I said to you on text message today, my theory is that the Rock potentially could cost Roman the title at Mania. I don't know. I might be wrong. It could be a whole new, because he's not going to be around after Mania because he's filming Moana 2. So we all know that he's definitely off doing that. I mean, I don't mind it, to be honest. Anytime I get to see I love heel Rock as well, by the way. Absolutely, anyone out there that does not like heel Rock, I mean, Michael Cole referenced it. Is it 1996 again? For those of you that watched wrestling in 1996, I was 16 years old. And when you had heel Rock and all his leather, and it was probably one of his best. A lot of people probably don't remember that, do they?
No, they also had the Hollywood Rock, didn't they? Back in
Yep.
was it the early 2000s? Hollywood
Yeah,
Rock,
something like that too. Yeah, the right at the end.
2002.
Something like that. We're going to, he obviously was off to Hollywood then and he played on that and he didn't want to be called The Rock anymore. And I really enjoyed it. Just one other tidbit that I heard today, ads. Brian Gowitz, the head
Frank
writer,
Watts.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he's back.
Oh,
Apparently,
great. Good.
he was seen pictured with The Rock getting off a private jet. Apparently, he's heavily involved in this storytelling, booking leading up to Mania, which is good. I've read his book. I think it's tremendous.
Yeah.
Good to have him back.
But yeah, I mean, The Rock obviously trusts him with promos. I mean, that was the one that pretty much wrote The Rock's promos to a degree. I know back in those days, you didn't get as much shit as you get now when you get 10 writers and a fucking script that you've got to do. You literally had to cover off bullet points.
Mm.
But Gewurtz writ a lot of the comedy stuff. And it's how The Rock delivers the comedy stuff, obviously, that's hilarious.
Mm.
So it's good that he's back to do that sort of stuff. Funny enough, we're talking Bloodline now quickly whilst we're on it. I read a stat on coming home this evening. And I wanted to get your views on it just because I don't know whether this is WWE shit booking or how you want to do it. Ever since Solo Sikoa beat John Cena in Saudi Arabia, he's lost the last 23 consecutive matches.
Jesus.
Considering this was generally if you beat Solo, you get Roman kind of thing. That was how it was panned out. And Solo was the heir to the throne, and he was the next tribal chief, which has kind of died down a little bit at the minute because of obviously they've moved in another direction. The Rock's now part of the bloodline. But to me, I don't know. Does it feel like Solo's now just kind of been forgotten about a little bit?
Yeah, I personally think that this whole Rock thing wasn't meant to happen this year. And
Yeah.
I don't know how they've done it because of his scheduling and God knows what's gone on behind the scenes. I think this has been shifted forward. I
Yeah.
think this might. I'm still not sure if he's going to drop the title at Mania. I still think they might want to break that Hogan record. I still think that. I think there could be a lot of pissed off people at WrestleMania. I don't care because I want Roman to win.
Yeah.
Regards to Solo, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think it's flipped 180 in the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks with all these injuries, and they've kind of gone right. We've now got a shift in this direction, and Solo's still. It'll be interesting. Is he just going to be? He's not going to have a match at Mania, or I thought they might have inserted him in. Do you know what would have been interesting if they put him in the chamber and he'd won? They still might. I mean, there's still matches coming up this
he's not
week on
part of them,
SmackDown. I
unless he
don't
gets
think he's
involved.
part.
No,
I don't think he's part. That would have been my. I don't know if they were potentially going to go down that route. Because obviously, Punk was going to be involved in the chamber, and
Punk was due to win it, wasn't he? Well,
Punk was. He was last seen. He was scheduled to appear at the Elimination Chamber. So there's talk now today of Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman at the Elimination Chamber. That's what I heard because they're not going to do it night 1, night 2.
No, and plus Seth does deserve. He's or you could put the women on. We'll get into that, but
but as far as Solo, I don't know, mate. Yeah, I think because it's all changed and it's all up in the air. I genuinely don't think WWE quite know where they are right now. They've had to think on the fly, and I give Triple H a lot of credit for where they are right now. I thought the WrestleMania press conference was incredible. I thought that was amazing. They let everyone for free into an arena. They had God knows how many thousands of people there. I hope they do that again for like a SummerSlam. I hope that's for like the big pay-per-views.
It's kind of like the old UFC weigh-ins, isn't it?
It was. It was, and it's I thought it was a tremendous as to do. And like you say, as soon as you advertise the Rock and Roman Reigns, they've been advertised this Friday for SmackDown. Ratings are going to go through the roof. But Solo, I don't know, mate. Yeah, he's just a bit part player anymore. I think he's just going to have to wait till after Mania, and then we'll see if the Bloodline are even a thing. Does Solo go on his own? Does he get into a storyline with maybe one of the Usos? Who knows what happens? I still think there's a lot of blood left in this storyline. Let's talk some Monday Night Raw though. Kicking off the New Day and Jey Uso versus Imperium. Tremendous match. I thought it was really good. Set up moving forward. Main event Jey Uso going up against Gunther next week for the IC title. Really good start. I liked the fact that they didn't just start with Cody promo. That's where I thought they might go. And I was quite pleased that they went with a match. I like what they're doing with Jey. Potentially could see him as an IC champ. We're saying that Gunther's going to get pushed into the main event. Is he going to? Would you rather Gunther or Drew? It looks like Drew's going to go up against Seth, but then there's still the chamber. You've got obviously got the Randy Ortons in the chamber match. You've got potential some great matches. Or great opponents for Seth to take on at Mania. It's looking like Drew at the minute from what we're hearing. What did you make of the start of Raw, though, mate? Really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a great 6-man tag. I mean, those six anyway, they're all great. So putting them all together made a lot of sense. I also think Gunther's left in a bit of limbo due to the whole Lesnar situation.
Yes.
I
Reckon
would
that'll
be
ever get resolved. I know you say never, never say never in the WWE, and we can maybe touch on the whole Vince McMahon thing, and obviously we're going to get that documentary in about a month on Netflix. That's going to be fucking that could open a whole can of worms. I'm surprised with this new deal with Netflix. I'm surprised WWE are going to try to can this, because apparently this documentary is going to open up so many worms. It's going to be unbelievable. From what I'm hearing, it could be bullshit, but from what I'm hearing, it's going to be like, oh my God, no. Netflix might look at that and go, actually, about that Monday Night Raw deal, we're not fucking doing that.
Ah, man, yeah, I think it's open. I mean, does the Lesnar thing ever get resolved? Yeah, I think it's a case of never say never. I mean, it won't get resolved between now and Mania. That's near enough a lock. It will be forgotten. It will be something that, how is he really to, Vince was offering women to, I mean, fair enough, he did say he likes the look of that in particular individual when he's got Sable at home. I don't know, was he really at fault? I mean, I don't know why they're erasing. I mean, he's taken off the video game. He's
Oh,
been,
yeah, bro. He's like erased from WWE history at the minute.
yeah, and it just feels. I
He's
mean,
sitting in the same bracket as Chris Benoit at the minute. And to
so
put him in
Vince.
that, yeah, so Vince is definitely going to sitting in that bracket. I
Um,
mean,
but yeah, I think the Gunther's left in limbo a bit here because maybe, and then this is maybe where we get the addition of Braun Breaker, because we all know Braun took Lesnar's spot in a Rumble, and it went spot for spot because Braun was meant to be eliminated by Brock was meant to be
Dom.
eliminated by Dominic, which
And
was
then
going to
set
start
up
the
the chamber.
squash chamber. So I think Gunther's another one of those unfortunate ones that have been just lost in this. And Jey Uso next week, I can potentially see Jimmy costing him, which starts back
Sets
there,
there. Yeah,
the
sets their feud up.
Mania. And I think, to be honest, unless they're going to give Braun Breaker the IC title at Mania, Gunther will just have to stay there for now.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think he's going to have to keep it for now. They probably did. I reckon he was going to be flipped into the Seth Rollins. Maybe that kind of him, Seth, Punk.
What about Andrade?
I like the promo that they kind of
Great.
cut on Raw. I mean, I don't know where there's so many. I think because with wrestling at the minute, and especially with WWE, this is where I am. You're so there. We're all blinkered at the minute because we've got the Bloodline, we've got Cody, we've got the whole finish the story, we've got The Rock, we've got Seth, and yeah, exactly. And apart from that, then every now and again you look around and go, oh, this is quite a good storyline, and that's quite a good storyline, but you're not as focused as we maybe normally would. And that's understandable. It's WrestleMania season, but we're so like, is this finally going to be the end of Roman Reigns' reign? If I can say that. Yeah, I can. Or is this, I think he's going to go on to break Hogan's record, but there's so many of these little subplots and these storylines that you're usually invested in. You're usually like, let's think, you've got to fill WrestleMania for 2 nights.
Yeah.
So they've got to get the crowd invested in other things other than Cody and Roman and Seth and whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
There's talk today. Again, I know we're flipping in and out here, but I read something today that Steve Austin could somehow be getting involved, and The Rock and Austin could have a little something at WrestleMania. He done an interview today. I saw his interview today where he said, look, never say never. I mean, would you want to see Austin and Rock one more time?
No, I want to see Austin and Punk. Maybe, and maybe that's next year. Maybe that's if Punk's he's like a tampon now at the moment, isn't he? I mean, if you look at his AEW, the last bit, he got to that point, got injured, got to that point again, got injured, then had 2 fights, got sacked, and now he's coming WWE, got to that point and tore his tricep again.
Out to at least SummerSlam.
Yeah, and you would think the first person he's going to target is Drew, which is obvious. Drew's playing a good thing, and Drew's apparently signed a new contract now, which put to bed any of this Drew Galloway to AEW stuff. Apparently it's all signed, just not officially out there in the public. And
probably more chance of George Galloway going to AEW right now. It's so shit.
Jesus.
Come on, mate. Drew going there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't. There's so many things that have been flipped on its head because of just a couple of injuries here and there. The Punk one, obviously,
a big can of worms.
and we've got the whole Vince thing here. We've got the Punk injury, and then we've got the modern day yes movement of the We Want Cody and the Cody Crybabies. I think WWE have played on that quite well. The Rock done his interview on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Yes Movement. It just proves, I don't know what you think, mate. Me and you've watched wrestling pretty much our whole lives. They do listen, WWE. I heard things that they were handing out there. We want Cody signs and Raws and stuff like that. I think, Paul, it takes a big man, I think. I know you said you would rather they had stuck with the original thing. But when you see such a surge in the crowd and whatever's gone on, and we call it the Yes Movement 2.0, which is what I'm calling it, I'll give him a little bit of credit there. He has gone, oh, we've fucked up here. We shouldn't have put Rock in the main event with Roman. Or did they? Oh, again, we come back to has the CM Punk thing played into the hands of this? And I think they were originally going to push Rock next year. I think he was going to be involved in Mania this year. I don't think it's going to be nowhere near the capacity that he is involved now. He's going to be potentially involved in Elimination Chamber. I think there's going to be so many twists and turns in the next, 50, God knows how many days till Mania. We're going to sit here and be like, well, forget what I said last week. That's crap because this has happened. But I don't know. I give Triple H some credit for what he's done the last 2 weeks. I know you're not a fan of flipping it completely. I give Triple H a little bit of credit.
Yeah. Obviously, he's seen the fans sort of boycott and stuff. But those were the same fans that were jacking off when The Rock come back a couple of weeks ago. So what's the big deal? Just because he wanted to take Cody's spot and fucking finish this stupid story that Cody wants to finish, that, to be quite frank, he could have gone on against Seth and finished it there. Just because it's a different title doesn't mean he's still. Cody was a fucking curtain jerker when he was in WWE last time. He never got as far as the Intercontinental title. Finishing his dad's story is really what he's doing, right? And that's I mean, Roman's line at the press conference was like irrelevant like your dad. It's just fucking priceless. But if The Rock got brought in just a Punk's injury, then they should have stuck with it. But yeah, I suppose that they've heard the movement from the fans, and Triple H has acted on it and said, no, we've got to go back to the original plan. And I'm hoping
does it matter who ends Roman's story, in your opinion? Does it have to be like we know, like, take Cody out of the picture at the minute.
Yeah.
In your opinion, does it matter who ends Roman's reign? Again, I've used that twice now. But, it's going to be a pivotal moment in wrestling history when this happens. When he does drop that title, in your opinion, it's either Cody or no one else because of what happened last year at WrestleMania 39.
Unless someone's got a big enough build, like you wouldn't. Or it's like this.
You can't put it on The Rock. You can't put the title. You can't have him end it.
No,
you could potentially have Randy Orton end it. Not
really? It's not impactful, though, is it? I mean, that's the thing what they're going for. The other way it would have been impactful is if it was someone out like a Braun Breaker, someone out of the blue that from NXT that Braun comes in, hits the fucking big ass spear that he does, pins in 1, 2, 3, like a bit like a Goldberg Lesnar from Survivor Series. If it was as impactful as that and someone fresh won it, then that was what you could arguably do that. They won. But yeah, I think it has to have a meaning to it because he's been champion for so long. You can't just have fucking, like, I don't know, Chad Gable rock up out of the blue. And as much as I love Gable, you would, or fucking, Tozawa rock up and,
Yeah. So out of Punk and Cody, there isn't really, if you take CM Punk out of the equation, I don't care what these fucking little AEW virgins say, he is a draw. He was going to go for Seth, though. If you just took Cody out, say Cody got injured tomorrow, God forbid that doesn't.
Oh, fuck me.
God forbid. I probably could. We probably clip this now. God forbid he gets injured. If he did, they'd just keep the title on Reigns. It'd easily break Hogan's record. They wouldn't take it off him. I'm just trying to think. Like, I know I 99% agree with what you said at the start of the show. It's like I wish they maybe had. And me and you're probably in the minority. I would have liked to have seen Rock and Roman, but there's no one else. Apart from Cody, even if he does win, and I'm hoping, I'm in the minority because I want to see Roman go and break Hogan's record. I think we'll never see anything like it in our history again. In our lifetime of watching wrestling, you're never going to come this close to breaking that record.
No.
I personally think that's playing on WWE's mind. We are this close to potentially breaking it. He hasn't got to keep it for too much longer. Right? Long, but not too much longer.
That's SummerSlam, wouldn't it?
SummerSlam. It's just, I think it's the week before SummerSlam, something like that. So yeah, say the SummerSlam match, whoever he has it against, that could be the be all and end all. And you could even involve Hogan somehow. You could have him something at ringside. You could do something. I know you had them probably. I know you're not a big.
End up beating him for it, wouldn't he?
Could you imagine? Oh, fuck it. He'd do it and all if they let
Oh,
him.
he'd do like a shot.
They'd do it if they let him. But yeah, it's so many things. I know we're flipping in and out here, and I love these kind of
Fine.
shows.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Men's
find out.
elimination.
Hold
Go on,
on,
mate. Sorry. No,
We'll
you go.
find out on Friday. We'll have it on SmackDown or Saturday morning. Whatever. We'll have a greater idea of what's going to happen because The Rock and Roman are going to be on SmackDown. I'm guessing Cody will probably be there just because he'll probably slap The Rock around the face just to get another 100 million hits on YouTube. So I think we'll have a greater idea of that because you can't rule out that tag match, not necessarily night one.
And I'm guessing they're filming 2 SmackDowns on Friday because they need to fly to Australia. You think the Elimination Chambers, the Elimination Chamber is the following Saturday. There's no way that they're doing.
Yeah, you got a big ass journey, haven't you?
So that's potentially you've got Rock and Roman on this Friday and quote unquote the Friday after, even though it's recorded.
Yeah, they probably will. To be fair, wouldn't they? It'd make a lot. You might as well use The Rock while he's there, right? If you
Use
you
it,
know,
you set up Elimination Chamber because then if they do
have
advertise
to.
him, if they advertise him at Chamber, and
No, it's in Chamber. Is it not in Australia? Is it
it's
not?
in Perth. That's what I'm saying.
As in
SmackDown.
SmackDown? Isn't that not in?
If it is, you might be right, mate. I haven't seen it advertised. You might have to do a quick Google search while I ramble and sing a song or something. I don't know, but yeah, I'm guessing that until you hit the Google button, that SmackDown's going to be recorded 2 shows back to back. So they've got to travel to Australia. Let's be honest, that's going to take about 2 days from the States because they've got to go via somewhere and via. I don't know if you can fly direct from America to Australia. I don't think you can.
No, double taping. There
you go. So you've got The Rock and Roman both in the building. They're going to use them, and that for me is going to set up something at Elimination Chamber.
Interestingly enough, is a double taping of NXT as well. I don't know if that plays into anything.
I'm guessing a lot of the superstars are going to be flying to Perth, and you have to think that's on a beat. I don't know if they've done it or if they will. I've got a funny feeling they might double tape Raw this Monday because if you leave Australia on the Saturday, it's at least 48 hours to get back to the States. You're not going to. It's not like going from London to New York where you can go from the
8 hours
O2.
or 6
You can go
hours.
from Money in the Bank to doing Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is like a 48 hour. From us to get to Australia from here is 2 days.
Yeah.
So America, I don't know if they've got to go via London and then London to Abu Dhabi to Australia, or do they go from America straight? I don't think they fly direct. It's going to be interesting to see what Raw does next Monday. Is that double taped? And then they obviously will fly to Perth, and then they've got to get back from Perth. So it could be a lot of tapings. But let's dip our toes back into Monday Night Raw. Men's Elimination Chamber qualifier. I'd be surprised at this one. Bobby Lashley versus Big Bronson Reed. Because it's in Perth. I assumed that Bronson Reed would have been inserted into the. I don't know what you think. I liked it. It was a good match. It was okay. It was 2 big guys going at it. There was some, top of the threw him off the top of the rope. Bobby Lashley was picking him up, but Bobby Lashley getting the win. What did you? Does this surprise you in any way? The Big Bronson Reed. I know they'd done the backstage segment where he was kicking off and he wasn't very happy, but surprised me that he wasn't in the actual chamber match. Bearing in mind it's in Australia.
Absolutely, I thought he was a stick on, to be quite honest, because realistically now it just leaves Rhea. The only thing I can potentially think about it is they've given it to her because it's Rhea Ripley and she's a bigger draw, so they probably just wanted her to be the showpiece. Potentially, I don't know this. I thought he was nailed on. I thought Karrion Kross was going to get involved, and that was going to just make. Lashley doesn't really make a lot of sense for Lashley to be in it at the moment. The storyline that he's currently embroiled in makes no sense for him to be in the Elimination Chamber at all. But he is. So I was really surprised. I love the match. Don't get me wrong. It was great. It was a good match. But yeah, I was really surprised by that one.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see what they do with Bronson Reed now as we lead it. I guess we'll find out maybe a bit more on Friday or Monday. We then moved on to Cody Rhodes coming out and Seth Rollins probably cutting one of the best promos I've seen in a hell of a long time. They referenced the Shield. Cody come out, obviously talking about his match with Roman and what happened with The Rock, and you slapped me, now I'm going to have to hit you back. Seth comes out. It's kind of his fault. Again, reference to the Shield. He is going to be Cody's Shield. Is this setting up a tag team match, like I said at the start, at the Elimination Chamber where we get Seth and Cody versus The Rock and Roman? Because I don't know how you're having Seth. He's not going to be in his corner, quote unquote, at Mania. This is where I think it all gets a little bit. We're just kind of guessing here, and I'm not turning into flipping one of these dirt sheets where I'm just making bullshit up. I generally don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Do we get a tag team match at Chamber? And what did you make of the promo on Raw? I thought it was incredible. I thought it was really good.
The promo was brilliant, and I think I don't know if this is right or not, but again, I feel as if they're not they're letting the talents do the work on this. Some of these promos now, they're not just feeding them the bullshit. Like we said earlier on, they're not just putting a fucking script in their hand and saying that word for word. I'm kind of hoping they're going back to, especially with the ones that they trust, like the Codys, the Seths, the Romans, the Rocks. They don't need a fucking script. You just tell them hit this, this, and
Yeah, get that point, and that point, and then you can do what you want.
yeah, that's what I feel, and I feel as if that. I mean, that promo was absolutely the promo was tremendous. I don't know if it sets up a Rome. I think now going back to what we were saying earlier about Solo, I think perhaps the Rock and Solo go against Cody
Cody and
and
Seth.
Seth, and it depends how Seth's injury is. Do they really want to risk it this close to lose a world champion? I suppose what you can do then is get Priest to cash in, can't you? Because apparently Priest,
I forgot about him.
this is where it gets even funnier. Damian Priest has come out and said he can't cash in the championship because Seth's injured. Well, what the fuck's this whole point?
Didn't we say this a couple of weeks ago when he come out and like he could barely walk, and me and you were like, "Why the fuck's no one
Because
cashed
he
in
can't.
now?"
That is what he was saying. He can't cash in because that's just ridiculous. This is just absolutely. I don't know, but I think it could set up Cody and Seth versus Solo and The Rock. I don't know about Reigns. It doesn't make any sense with Solo at a minute, but again, Friday. We may get a Roman saying, "Well, I'm not going to do it because I'm too much. I'm the tribal chief, etc. So I'm going to push Solo in." But it does risk Seth, which is the other side. Do they really want to risk him? Is the other argument. But I think we do get it. I just don't know if it's going to be Rock and Roman or when we get it.
You've got 8 weeks of TV to fill after the Elimination Chamber,
Plenty of
7.5
time.
weeks. So you've got plenty of time where you could do it on a SmackDown, because Raws and SmackDown now, or from Elimination Chamber onwards, are going to have to be top shelf.
Oh, I think they will
You
be.
can't have no mediocre.
There's a big difference. I mean, last year we criticised the hell out of it. I remember sitting here and everything. We
Big
were like,
build,
this
right?
was shit, that was
Yeah.
shit. I think now you've got a lot of stars and you've got this kind of twists of the story of a lot of stories that are going on. There's going to be some new stories coming out of the Elimination Chamber. I think so. I think now we were going to watch Raw and that and be like, yeah, this is cool because we've still got Gunther's got to have a challenger that we don't know who that is yet because Jay's got his match next week, which surprised me, but he's got that. We've got obviously you've got the Seth situation. You've then got what's happened to Randy Orton if he doesn't win.
Randy Orton, LA Knight, all these people.
You've got you've got Logan Paul in the title, and that's another thing we've still got. So there's plenty of filler there to get us to not have a shit show before WrestleMania. It should really be. I think as the week you might have the odd okay one before it starts ramping up, but realistically, there's no excuses for them to put on the shit that they put on last year before Mania.
No, it was terrible last year. I remember me and you just sitting there every week going, I really don't want to review this. Liv Morgan defeating Zoe Stark in an Elimination Chamber qualifier, the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Wrote it down in my notes, so I didn't forget it. Where are we with the whole Liv Morgan Revenge Tour? I think it's quite simple where they're going. Becky Lynch is going to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch is going to win at WrestleMania. That for me is absolutely nailed on, 100% going to happen. Everything else for me at the minute, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of sitting there this morning watching Raw going, it's good to see Liv Morgan back. I like seeing her wrestle. I like looking at her, let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, mate. I just think it's all leading up to, I think Elimination Chamber will be, Rhea Ripley win. It's going to be easy.
Obviously.
And then you're going to have 7 weeks of Becky and Rhea Ripley going into Mania. What did you reckon?
I think you're right. Liv, sorry, Morgan.
Spliff? Wow.
Well, you know what happened. She got pulled over, didn't she?
It's Matt Riddle, it.
Yeah, well, she got pulled over for it, didn't she?
She
That's
did.
what Nick for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where I think it's slightly disappointing for the WWE because they've already given you the direction that they're going in on this. Like even for the men's one, you can narrow it down. They're star-studded in terms of the names, but like you can kind of already see, well, Becky's already kind of got her eyes on Rhea, and if that match is, and she's qualified for the Chamber. So if she doesn't win the Chamber, she's not getting Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania unless the one in the Chamber cashes it in early, which I doubt they would. So it makes no sense. You kind of like, well, she's won that one then. And then it's like, you kind of got it between two, really. In my opinion, in the men's, it's either going to be Drew or Sammy, really. I think the way the storyline's playing out, Randy Orton's really doing nothing. Bobby Lashley's embroiled in a feud with somewhere else. LA Knight's been on the periphery of everything but the world title. So it kind of, I don't think he wins it.
Some of them are probably going to be chucked in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Well, fucking hell. Yeah, you're right. You are right. But I just think they're
LA
kind
Knight will
of.
win that.
I think LA Knight. I think LA Knight will be going against Logan Paul. But the other person that you forgot to, well, not that we forgot to mention, but we haven't said anything, is Cena. And where does he fit into it? Because he's still going. He's still he's been poor, but he's still, he's going to want to come back for a win because he's lost about his last 20, man. A bit like Solo. Cena's gone on that.
Yeah, he's only
That
got a
losing
few. He said
streak.
like, oh, obviously he come out and said he wants his last ever match to be in London. So
Good,
he's
good boy.
come out and said that. So it's not going to be his last match at Mania, but it's probably going to be penultimate, I would say. So interesting. Did they put him up against a Logan Paul? Did they put him in a three-way? Did they have
They were
some sort of?
talking about that, him and Logan, before. I think
Do
that
they
made
give him one more
SummerSlam.
run? Do they somehow give him another run?
Do you know what? Because of Flair, they probably
What's
find
the record? He only needs to win one more.
He
More,
needs
doesn't he?
one more. Yeah.
Does he challenge Seth somehow?
And I think we've seen him, and anything can happen because he proved that. So none of us know he was going to be at Money in the Bank. They kind of threw us off that, didn't they?
There's going to be some surprises at Mania where someone's music's hitting and we're just
Yeah,
like,
seen it. I wouldn't be surprised because of Flair, AEW, and all of that sort of shit. They wouldn't shock me just to stick two fingers up at Flair, just because he's at AEW. They probably would do that. But who knows? We still got him to factor in though.
Yeah. One storyline that I really couldn't give a two shits about right now.
Where you're going with this.
Oh, JD McDonough pinned. Oh, truth. Oh, ads just talked me off the ledge here, mate. I didn't care. I watched it. I was like, please, just the Judgment Day for me. Again, what you said earlier, they've got enough content to fill going into Mania. For me, the Judgment Day have lost something in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. They were, don't get me wrong, me and you sat here quite a long time going, oh, Raw was just all about the Judgment Day again. Now it's kind of like WWE have gone, well, we don't need you right now. We've got The Rock and we've got Roman and we've got Seth and we've got Cody and we've got blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of like, well, the Money in the Bank, that's going to be a failed cash in whenever the fuck that happens. Unless they want the fucking ultimate heat of all time. Cody wins it.
I know where you're going.
And he cashes it in straight away and wins. Oh my God, turn off the internet, delete Twitter. We'd have to podcast 24/7 because the internet would absolutely fucking melt.
Oh, I'd be so funny if
it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
It would.
Everyone would be like, you'd get these silly little fans like crying because Cody won of happiness.
Oh, there'll be people in Facebook groups leaving. I'm leaving a Facebook.
There'll be a load of breaks being taken then.
There'll be a lot of breaks being taken, and they'll be back the day later. I don't know, mate, but it would. Yeah. What's going on with the Judgment Day ads? Talk to me, mate. Talk to me. I'm lost here.
I can't talk you off the fence because I think it's been like this big fucking. They've just gone like this. It's been terrible. I mean, ever since Truth come back, it's been no disrespect. Truth's hilarious, but for a team that 1 minute were like rivaling, they were basically Raw's bloodline.
They were.
Now they're just like doing that,
and especially when they joined them. Do you remember that episode of SmackDown when it was the Bloodline and it was the Judgment Day, and it was all really. You're thinking, hang on a minute, this could be really good. And then I don't know if it's WWE being WWE or the writers going, actually, we're going to flip it this way because the Money in the Bank thing's been an absolute sham.
Unless they're doing it to throw us off this, I know they keep mentioning that he's Money in the Bank, but unless they're trying to throw it off so that cash in happens.
Can he cash it in, right? Here's one. Can they lose the tag team titles and then he cashes it in to get them back?
So he can even, and this is
out there.
He could even do good because he's eligible to cash in on any championship now. That's the new rule for Money in the Bank. That he can cash in on any championship. He could even do Gunther and cash it in at the end of that. I don't think they will, but
NXT.
That's a bit of a world title. It just depends which one.
NXT.
He could do. He could do that. I don't think he needs it, but he could do it. Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be Seth or Roman Cody. So it'd be fucking hilarious, but it'd be
Cody,
hilarious.
Yeah. But it would be something that they would do, though, wouldn't it? Because,
mate, I'm telling you now, what day is the 13th of February? Now, if it happens, me and you need to find this episode and go, well, we talked.
Yeah.
So when I mentioned The Rock joining the Bloodline, God knows how many months ago, and when I saw that on Friday, I was like, fucking buzzing. But yeah, I don't know, mate. As far as the
we can pass on them at the minute.
Just pass. We get to the men's elimination chamber match. LA Knight versus Ivar. LA Knight getting the win.
No surprises there.
Yeah, no surprises there. Are we still on the LA night train? I'm not quite
one, isn't it?
sure. It's another one where, again, we've said it many times already on this episode of the Hitting the Turnbuckle. It's another one where he was here. And is it because of what's gone on? Is it because of the injuries? Is it because of how the storylines have flipped? Was he going to be going for the US title? Was he going to be challenging a Seth or involved somehow in the Roman? I don't think quite the Roman. That's probably a
No.
stretch. Seth, maybe, but then you've got CM Punk. So realistically, the US title or the IC title, they kind of listened to the fans with Cody. The whole LA Knight thing seems to have derailed, shall we say.
Yeah, the fan response is still there, but yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those. You're right that it's kind of been, it kind of has been forgotten about a little bit, hasn't it? Because
Mm.
with all the stuff going on, you can I mean, he was never going to beat Roman anyway. There was, there was never going to do that. But I assume that the US title route is the way that they're going with him, and he will definitely win a title at WrestleMania. That if he's in any title match at WrestleMania, he's won it. Unless they do. The other thing they were going to do, actually, and this is changing the subject a little bit, they were going to bring out, and I don't know if this is still true or they're still doing it, they're going to do a women's ladder match, and the winner becomes the WWE Intercontinental Women's Champion.
Oh, I
There
like
was
it.
talk of this, and there was talk of putting it on like a Naomi or even a Natalia, someone like with a bit of, yeah, all right, with a bit of
Oh,
experience behind
Natalia.
them. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, this was just what I was reading the other day. But going back to LA Knight, I just think he's been lost in a minute in
That's
what's
the
going on.
only thing with what we've been going. This seems to be the crux of this episode. Because we are so, and I'm including myself in this, I should come back to it, blinkered, because we are so invested in what's going on at the top of the tree, you've kind of missed what else is in the middle and the little branches that are falling off here and there where we don't usually miss them leading up
No.
to a Mania and Elimination Chamber. I mean, last year we had Sami Zayn going up against Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber, and we were all heavily invested in that. And we were like, this is good because you've got the whole Sami obviously turned his back on him at SummerSlam, at the Rumble, sorry, hitting him in the back with a chair, blah, blah, blah. And you were invested in what was going on there. And there were so many other good storylines going on. Not to say that the storylines aren't going on right now. I just think everyone to a man that watches WWE TV right now is so invested in what's going on with The Rock and Roman and Cody and Seth, even to an extent. People are like, okay, I care who you're going to face. And as good as Seth and Drew might be, I don't really give a shit.
No.
And I don't mean that in that horrible way where I'll watch it and I'm sure it'll be a great match and the build up will be good. But in the back of my mind, I'll just be like, right, let's just get to Cody and Roman because I really want to fucking see how they're going to do this now or how The Rock's going to be involved. Is he going to cost Roman? Is Cody not going to win and he's not going to finish the story at WrestleMania? There's so many like superlatives that could happen now with WWE. And I think they're thinking about that as well. And I think you are right. I think it would be something that they would be a cash in or Roman, if Roman could win. I genuinely think they want him to beat Hogan's record. And you've only got to go till August to do it.
Yeah,
You're never going to get this chance again, Ads. Like I said before, you're never, ever, ever, ever going to get this chance again. And I think WWE would love to erase Hulk Hogan as the longest reigning. He was the last ever WWF champion. He was the first ever WWE champion.
Yeah.
I think for whatever reason, and we all know what's gone on, and I think they want to not erase him from history.
No.
I think if WWE get their way, Roman Reigns will be the longest reigning champion of all time.
Yeah, definitely so. I think that's where they're looking at. Yeah, it's only to SummerSlam, and that's kind of why these Cody fucking crybabies that they're called, they missed the point of that because Roman would have beat The Rock at WrestleMania. I know The Rock did, well, they reportedly pitched to beat Roman, which was never going to happen.
Never, no way.
But then Cody could have finished the story at SummerSlam after he'd beaten Hogan's record, right? And which, again, he still finishes the story. Granted, it's not at WrestleMania, but he still finishes it. And we kind of all know in the back of our minds, if you replay last year's WrestleMania and assuming Cody wins, the ending's going to be Solo's going to come out, hit the spike, Roman's going to hit the spear, and this time Cody's kicking out. And that then falls to about the 68th crossroads that he'll hit during the match and win it. That's generally my assumption as to how it's going to go. Or Cody moves out of the way of the spear, he hits Solo, Cody hits crossroads. Potentially special guest referee The Rock hits the count.
I think he hits the rock bottom on Roman.
Or he could do that.
setting up Rock and Roman.
He
That would be
could do that.
my
Or he
wacky
could do it at the end.
theory. Yeah, I think something happens that we're not done with Rock and Roman. So that Rock can go off and do Moana too. Roman can go off and he'll probably, I'm gonna guess, up to a year off. We potentially might not. We may see him again. I'm gonna hazard a guess that he's gonna want a shitload of time off, and we could see him at a Rumble. I think it's gonna be one of them. I generally do think, but that's why they need to be so sure that Cody can carry this, because you've lived off the bloodline now since 2020.
Yeah.
You know, since the Thunderdome era, we'll call it. You've lived off that whole storyline. It's evolved and it's moved, and you've had Sami Zayn and you've had the Usos, and it's gone in different directions. That has been your main focus of your product. They have to be so fun. I think they're probably nervous as well. And I think us as fans are thinking, you know, I don't know why, because this is Wrestling 101. It's what we've known our whole lives. Storylines evolve, characters come and go. You know, back in the day, who would have thought that, you know, Hulk Hogan would have not been the say your prayers, take your vitamins, flip it. He's now in the NWO, one of the best bad guys, one of the best factions in the world. The Ultimate Warriors of this world, the Randy Savages, the Bret Harts of this world. It does evolve. I just think now this is probably the first time in fuck knows how many years WWE are thinking we've got to get this right, and they're probably thinking not in wrestling terms as well. I reckon. I don't know what you think about this. Now into their factions coming Netflix, is coming all these fucking TKO. It's all of that. Gone are the days of going right. Let's just book this and see what happens. Now they've got people over their back going, "We're giving you how much, and you're putting the title on who?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could be. You've also got to remember there's also two other now free agent members of the Samoan family that could literally come in and join. And Lance and Hawaii and Jacob Fatu could both come in, as they're technically not signed anywhere.
And the bloodline story could just carry on.
It could carry on.
I'd love that. Oh,
what could bring them in as his bloodline? Could have a
bloodline v bloodline.
Yeah, you know, it's probably a far fetched thing, but I still think either The Rock could be referee of it, and he counts the three. Cody celebrates, blah blah. Roman gets up, Rock hits him in the rock bottom, and that's
you're off the road to WrestleMania 41, yeah,
or WrestleMania 41 or the other.
I think they do a long John Cena Rock kind of build. I think if you're going to do that, I think it's going to be Mania. So I generally think the Rock's gone after this little stint. Let's finish with the Raw main event. Shinsuke Nakamura defeating the caught in limbo Sami Zayn right now. Obviously, Drew McIntyre getting involved. Cody Rhodes coming down at the end. This was pretty much a setup for Cody to do the save at the end. This match. That's all this match really was. I mean, again Nakamura and Sami Zayn are again caught in this quote unquote, what the fuck are we doing with these guys? You know. This is going to be another Andre the Giant. But you think this time last year, Sammy was getting ready to go, convincing Kevin Owens to be his tag team partner. Well, he was going up against Roman at the Elimination Chamber. And then the build up to Mania was him convincing KO to be the tag team partner and them ultimately winning the tag team titles at WrestleMania on night one, main event. Again, it comes back to probably the question I'm going to ask you many times in the next 7 to 8 weeks. What the fuck are they doing with Nakamura, with Zayn? Where's Drew involved in this? Are we getting a one-on-one for Seth's title? So many things. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to be like these dirt sheets and going, well, this is what's been told and this is what's going to happen. Not fucking virgins like Dave Meltzer. What do you make of what's going on with Nakamura, with Zayn, with Drew, with Seth now? How are you seeing it all?
I think with Nakamura, it kind of, and I don't think it's going to happen next. I think he's going to AEW. I would have loved to have had Okada debut against Nakamura. That would have been great. I think it's now
set. Done, is it, AEW?
From the reports, yes. I think he debuts the same day as Mercedes
in Boston.
Yeah, in Boston.
So many Easter eggs on that poster, by the way.
Oh, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? I mean, yeah.
They might as well have just said Mercedes is signed.
You may as well have done it because you know it's going to happen. And giving it away.
It's in our hometown. It's in Boston. Yeah,
is what they put on the poster. Fair play to them. Good signing for him. As long as they use them right. I mean, that's the thing. And and to be fair, Tony Khan is in a bit of the same boat as even with Triple H in terms of rosters. Because you look at their roster, and you look at WWE's roster, and you're like, well, any of these guys, you know, in main event terms. Not necessarily if we think they're main event, but if you look at rosters, they've got a big roster of people there, both companies that could main event. But Sammy, I mean, Nakamura, I'd love to see him against Okada. It probably won't happen. I don't know is my answer with Nakamura, unless they have signed Okada and he comes in and Nakamura goes against Okada, which would be great. Sami Zayn, I think, is on the verge of turning heel for the sixth time in a few years. I think that's like, I mean, he's doing. I think he's trying to break the Big Show's record
I know.
for heel turns. He's got some way to go yet, but yeah, I don't know, because I think what's happening at the moment is Cody's taking Punk's place in the feud of McIntyre. I think that's where they're going with that, at least short term. McIntyre could possibly win the Chamber, and then that goes back then to Seth once he wins, and he's got that big build, and you could have a Cody feud in between that build just to, then they both go their separate ways. McIntyre goes and potentially beats Seth and becomes the champion that really in front of a crowd, which he never has done.
Yeah, he got backlash in France after Mania, didn't you?
Yeah, you do. And as I say, McIntyre's never won a title with a live crowd. So you've got that. Then Cody goes to Roman. But Sammy and Shinsuke, again, this is the roster thing again. And when you bring in the likes of The Rock and you had the likes of CM Punk before the injury, where do they fit in the? Do they even fit? Sammy main evented night one, and there's possibility he has no match at WrestleMania at all. Kevin Owens falls into that.
In the Andre the Giant battle.
Well, it could be because Kevin Owens could fall into that same boat.
You still got the tag team titles. Where do you do at Mania? What do you see that what's going on with the titles? Again, you've got Finn and obviously Damian Priest and all, what do you? They've got to be defended, surely. At Mania. I know they're getting defended. They're getting defended next week on Raw against Bray. What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
My mind's gone blank.
They've got British Strong Style at the Chamber, have they not? They got
it's been. I think they've been defended. I'm sure they're being defended on Raw as well. I saw today.
I'm pretty sure that they are in Australia and defend against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
What's the fucking names? It's gone anyway.
DIY.
I think they're going up against them next week on Raw.
Okay, again, they beat them like 2 weeks ago. Whatever. Because I don't see Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate winning it.
No, that's just a filler chamber match. That's to say, here we're giving you a title match, but we're not really giving you a title match, if that makes sense. I mean, we're going to talk about this in the next week as we do our Elimination Chamber preview, and then we'll sit down and review it. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning for us.
Love that.
Absolutely love a 10 a.m.
pay-per-view.
But let's wrap this show up today. We've given Monday Night Raw a grade. I'll let you go first, Tats.
Torn between 7.5 and 8. I'm kind of in the middle there. I thought it was good. There was a couple of bits, and as you said, the Judgment Day is just fuck off. That kind of. So 7.4, 7 3/4.
3/4. Yeah, I'm with you there. 7.5, 8. I think it was good.
The
good outweighed the bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if they want to.
Bad, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I'm not talking like Duke the Dumpster Drosy bad.
Was he still
Repo Man versus Duke the Dumpster Drosy bad. I'm talking. I've shown my age now. I was 44.
I remember that.
God,
it was your birthday, actually, wasn't it? Happy birthday!
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I turned the ripe old age. That's why I've got to wear this now. There's too many greys under here, mate. It wasn't the On one day I might do. Just come on as right said Fred or something. I don't know, but it was Raw for me. It was okay. Yeah, it was. If they want to, and I hope they do it in the next. I know it could be exclusive to SmackDown. Get The Rock and Roman on Raw, just a couple of times before Mania. I think that would really help. I think that would really. If you keep sending Cody and Seth to SmackDown,
they'll do it.
Advertise The Rock and Roman. I'm guessing the week before Mania they're going to be on Raw and SmackDown.
Definitely. Without a doubt.
And then you've got the whole Hall of Fame the night before.
Who's in that? Bray Wyatt will be in it, won't he? Let's be honest.
Bray Wyatt's probably going to be the main one. I thought it might have been Paul Heyman. Could be. I thought it might have been The Rock, but I think The Rock's going to be next year. You can't go many more years without putting him in.
No, but you got it's in ECW country, isn't it?
Yeah, if they've got any sense, Paul Heyman will be the headline.
Dreamer
could do.
Because they were going to put Van Damme in it, but that went tits up when he went to that was gone.
Jesus, it was bad enough seeing him trying to induct someone last year when he had the card.
Do you remember that when he had the cards the wrong way around?
It's brilliant. It was hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm with you on Raw, mate. It was interesting. Obviously, we're moving forward now. We've got this coming Friday. We've got The Rock and Roman both advertised on SmackDown. Going to be interesting to see what they do. I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of melee. Cody's going to get, like you said earlier, going to get a little.
Cody will probably smack him.
They long that out for a little bit longer, long term. The main thing I've noticed in this, on every tweet that Rock puts out or every Instagram post, he just finishes it with #long-term booking. I don't know if we're done. I reckon he's already got one eye on WrestleMania 41.
Do you think there's any possibility that he faces Cody at the Chamber?
I would love to see it. I would absolutely
Then
love
he'd
to see
lose,
it.
though, wouldn't he? Because you wouldn't want Cody then. You can't really.
Or
Have
does it end? Does it end in a no?
Mm.
Nothing. It just ends in a squash. The bloodline are involved. Seth's
No.
involved. Does it
No.
end in just a melee and there's a no contest and it'll be a good match per se? I'm pretty sure. I'm 99.9% sure that The Rock is going to Perth for the Elimination Chamber. I'm pretty sure they've said that. I'm now pretty sure that Roman Reigns is going to be there as well.
Find
From
out
what
Friday.
I'm hearing, we'll find out so much more this Friday. But I don't know, mate. A great time to be a wrestling fan. Well, unless you're
We're on our very own road though, not to WrestleMania.
We are, mate. Do you want to inform us? So the last time I actually saw you was last Sunday. We were down in Bournemouth, and we may have we're on the road to a certain Buckle Up 2 with Ignite
We are.
Pro Wrestling.
Buckle Up 2 is July the 14th. We announced, as you said, Ignite. Big one. Yeah, we got bigger, badder, better is the tagline. So no pressure. I think we'll do it. I think we'll get it.
We're all right. We've got to go some to top last year.
We do. We do have to go some of the top last year. I think we will. We'll have another massive announcement in the next week. Probably earlier now after today's conversations, which will change a lot for us anyway in terms of our reach to wrestling fans. And yeah, we've made a lot of progress in that.
Oh, I see.
We've done a little bit there.
Bravo.
And then obviously we've got tomorrow. This goes out tomorrow. This goes out on Wednesday. So on Wednesday at 7, there's a video message from Brilliance Country that's ready for Smashing Mike. So his next opponent will be announced tonight if you're watching, because it'll be tomorrow. It'll be Wednesday by the time this heads out. So we have that to look forward to as well as a big announcement as well. And on top of that, next week we actually going to have a one-man band. A one-man band. We're going to be talking to Heath Slater next week as well.
It's going to be really good to sit down and
that will be great. I've got a theory I want to run past Heath.
Okay.
About Nexus and
I thought it was you being in a band or something. Okay.
Drummer.
I thought Jesus Buckle Up 2 just got interesting.
So we're going to book Heath back up.
He's in the main event. He's taking on Smash. No, I don't know. But yes, we've got Buckle Up 2 coming up. We've got some great interviews coming up. We'll be back with our SmackDown review sometime over the weekend. You've still got all the AEW.
So that's the change now. So the change to the regular. I put this out on the AEW stuff. So me and Dave are now going to be doing a kind of week in AEW review, because Dave is our normal.
I've got a coaster here if you want me to ride it on the back of that. It's up to you, mate. Do you want to? Shall I post this to you? Hang on, I've got some stamps somewhere actually.
So because Dave obviously is very, really busy with his stuff, he's got a lot going on, but he wants to do the AEW stuff. He asked me last week if I wouldn't mind basically doing a pod
week review,
with the whole
makes sense.
week.
Makes sense.
Which is good. It's fine. And I get, I prefer podcast with other people on it. It helps. Talking to a wall is nice, but talking to somebody else that has the same interest and can give another opinion or the same opinion is better. So yeah, we're going to do a week in AEW reviews currently. That may change in the future back to
what's going on with the NWA stuff, ads? Because I believe, if I'm right, we're no longer available on YouTube in the UK. I saw you and Fiona Wrigley tweeting last week that it's bullshit how we don't get to watch the NWA in the UK. Can you fill the viewers in with any NWA news for the UK fans?
I wish I could, but the only thing they keep saying is that they're working on it. So basically, NWA have gone onto the CW app.
Can't they do like a streaming thing like Impact? Just download the app and pay $7.99 a month.
There's nothing been announced. The quote initially, which really pissed Fiona off when she was talking to NWA, was get a VPN.
Just basically get an illegal VPN. Just break the law.
VPN, which breaks the law. Yeah. So at the moment, no. So we're doing an NWA reading results.
Yeah, I saw the last one. Yeah, it's a bit.
We just read it off and talk about it. However, I am going to be seeing last week's NWA very, very soon, which I'm looking. I want to see the Ultimate Match of Death, which it was a death match. They didn't disappoint on that. But at the moment, no, there's no news, unfortunately, on that, which is annoying to say.
Okay. And just one last little tidbit from the press conference last week. WWE had announced a new little show on Twitter.
5 minutes.
5 minutes a week. Yeah, Speed. It's highlighting matches that you may not see, apparently. Yeah. And I'm the one that usually gets us cancelled. Yeah, 5-minute snippet matches or something
Yes.
exclusively for
Yep.
X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it
Yes.
these days. So again, I think this just goes to show where we're going with wrestling. And I reckon, mate, I think in 5 to 10 years' time, you're going to have a Twitter only pay-per-view or something, social media, something. You're going to have the social media champion. It's going to be something like that. That's the way wrestling is going, in my opinion. But make sure you go and check us out on YouTube, the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. You can find us on Twitter at HTT Buckle, same on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. Just type in the Hitting the Turnbuckle. We love interacting with everyone. I won't lie, Adam does most of our social media during the day because I'm sitting in a lorry throwing kegs around London. But yeah, come and interact with us. We love interacting with everyone. It was great to see some fellow fans at Ignite last Sunday.
Ministry of Wrestling.
Ministry of Wrestling is always good to catch up with them boys. Go and check out the Ministry of Wrestling. They do a great job over there. It was good to see you. It's good to see Rachel. Let's do this all again at the weekend. We're going to go and talk some Friday night SmackDown.
And I'm meeting Will Ospreay at the weekend.
And Adam is going to try and not get a hard on while meeting Will Ospreay and convince him to come on the podcast. Hopefully.
I don't think that
sprinkle some magic.
I interviewed Alex.
Yeah, exactly. That's we're halfway there, kind of thing. You know what I mean? We're halfway there. But yeah, we'll be back at the weekend. It's always good to talk some professional wrestling with you, my friend. Stay healthy, stay safe. This has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle. I've been your host, Andy Burrows, and that has been my tag team partner, Mr. Adam Cousins. Till next time, everybody, buckle down. Stay safe.